Hi everyone. Welcome back. Beginner photography class. What are some common mistakes when buying a camera and starting to learn photography? The theory and practice were very different, as always when taking pictures after learning the basic functions of the camera through the user manual. Today, we will look at photos of beginner photographers, which can be common mistakes. List of common mistakes. 1. Contrast problem. 2. Invisible camera's LCD. 3. Take pictures of flowers. 4. The battery is discharged. 5. Easy landscape photography. 6. Necessity of photo theory. One. Why are my photos sometimes too bright and sometimes too dark? From the camera's point of view, the camera's half shutter corresponds to a device that allows the camera to read its surroundings and focus and exposure. So to capture the exposure, simply place it on the subject you want to shoot and press the shutter button halfway, and the camera will automatically calculate the exposure value. If the brightness of the subject is generally similar, there is no problem, but the exposure value varies depending on the metering by pressing the shutter button of the subject halfway in bright and dark areas. In simple terms, metering is a camera that measures the amount of light received by a subject's surface. A panning shot is when you turn the camera on a fixed head. It is a technique where you follow a moving subject. And you can shoot this with a slower shutter speed to create a feeling of speed or action. Why is the camera's LCD monitor not visible outdoors under strong sunlight? In general, when taking a landscape picture outdoors during the day, it is difficult to see and check the LCD and recognize the exposure or shake of the picture. You should get in the habit of taking multiple pictures, with a little tweaking until you get used to how the camera looks in real pictures. Typical LCD screen brightness. Under strong sunlight, use the LCD screen adjustment function in most camera settings. You just need to change the LCD screen brightness. How do you adjust your diopter? Different viewfinders have different adjustments, but there is likely a small wheel or slide in close proximity to the viewfinder, sometimes labeled with a plus and, that allows you to adjust the view. Three. I took pictures of flowers from my comfortable point of view. In general, landscape photos or flower photos were taken by photographers are taken at their own eye level. Of course, there are times when you need that kind of gaze. Taking a picture while looking down or looking up is very different considering the eye level of the subject. It is important to shoot at eye level with the subject unless you intentionally change your eyes. What if you want to get a more different photo? For example, if you take a picture of a flower, you can see that the feeling of a picture taken from the eye level of a flower is really different from taking a bunch of flowers looking down from above. Of course, this is a matter of choice. But it's one of the mistakes we make often when we're first. 4. The battery has already run out while taking pictures. On the day of taking pictures from morning to evening, when beautiful sunset scenes begin to be visible under your eyes, you can miss it due to the discharge of the battery. Always have a spare charged battery ready and taken out. If you understand the environment where the battery drains quickly, I think you can reduce the discomfort by slightly increasing the battery life. If you understand the battery situation of your smartphone, you can see that the camera is no different. Using live view or shooting a lot of movies will drain the battery much faster than usual. I use a lot of long exposures when shooting night scenes. But even in this case, the battery will drain quickly. It goes without saying that the weather is cold. The same goes for old batteries. 5. Isn't landscape photography the easiest? When you start, the picture might seem like the easiest to photograph landscapes. But the landscape is not easy. Refer to the last video lecture. How to take a landscape picture. First, with camera mode settings, landscape photography is easier than ever. In the second, if you are familiar with landscape photography, the field of view for viewing photos of other genres is much narrower. Whether it's landscapes or people, there are areas where you take more pictures when taking pictures, but other areas still require an open mind. It is important to admit that there are different types of photos, even if they are different from your own taste. And what's good for the eyes doesn't necessarily make a good picture. Six. Do I need photography theory? Some people only think of how to shoot and neglect photography theory, which is the stage of preparation for shooting. It is important to spend a lot of time learning the steps in Photoshop after the post-correction, but it is also important to invest time in picture theory. It's a good idea to sign up for a good book about photography or community classes near you. Of course, after the COVID-19 pandemic is over. It's easier to learn about photography and cameras if you can attend community college photography group classes or college classes. Today, I did introduce start learning the pictures is what you often make mistakes. Even if you are a beginner in photography, feel to not to try. I have explained how to practice as simple and easy as possible. But if you understand this, camera shooting seems not that difficult. In the next video, I will show you some more informative aspects of photography.